into quadrant 2. If quadrant 2 activities are clearly the heart of effective personal management, the first thing we need to put first, then how do we organize and execute around those things? The first generation of time management does not even recognize the concept of priority. It gives us notes and to-do lists that we can cross off, and we feel a temporary sense of accomplishment every time we check something off, but no priority is attached to items on the list. In addition, there is no correlation between what on the list and our ultimate values and purposes in life. We simply respond to whatever penetrates our awareness and apparently need to be done. Many people manage from this first generation paradigms at the course of least resistance. There's no pain or strain. It's fun to go with the flow. Externally imposed discipline and schedule give people the feeling that they aren't responsible for result. But first generation managers, by definition, are not effective people. They produce very little, and their lifestyle does nothing to build their production capability. Buffet by outside forces, they are often seen as undependable and irresponsible, and they have very little sense of control and self esteem. Second generation managers assume a little more control. They plan and schedule in advance and generally are seen as more responsible because they are shown up when they are supposed to. But again, the activities they schedule have no priority or recognize correlation to deeper values and goals. They have few significant achievement and tend to be schedule oriented. Third generation managers take a significant step forward. They clearly their values and set goals. They plan each day and prioritize their activities. As I have said, this is where most of the time management field is today, but this third generation has some critical limitation. First, it limits vision. Daily planning often misses important things that can only be seen from a larger perspective. The very language daily planning focus on the urgent, the now, while third generation prioritization provides order to activity, it doesn't question the essential importance of the activity in the first place. It doesn't place the activity in the context of principles, personal missions, roles, and goals. The third generation value driven daily planning approach basically prioritize the quadrant 1 and quadrant 3 problems and crises of the day. In addition, the third generation makes no provision for managing roles in balanced way. It lack realism, creating the tendency to over schedule the day, resulting the frustration and the desire to occasionally throw away the plan and escape the quadrant 4. And its efficiency. Time management focus tends to strain relationship rather than build them. While each of the three generations has recognized the value of some kind of management tool, none have produced a tool that empowers a person to live a principle centered quadrant 2 lifestyle. The first generation notepads and to do list give us no more than a place to capture those things that penetrates our awareness so we won't forget them. The second generation apartment book and calendars merely provide a place to record our future commitments so that can be aware, we can be where we have agreed to be at the appropriate time. Even the third generation, with its vast array of planners and materials focusing merely on helping people prioritize and plan their quadrant 1 and 3 activities. Through many trainers and consultants recognize the value of quadrant 2 activities, the actual planning tool of the third generations do not facilitate organizing and execute around them. As each generation builds on those that have preceded, it's the strength and some of the tools of the each of the first three generation provided elemental material for the fourth. But there is an added needed for the first three generation, but there is an added needed for a new dimensions for the paradigms and implementation that will empower us to move into quadrant 2 and become principle centered and to manage ourselves to do what is truly most important. The quadrant 2 tool. The objective of quadrant 2 management is to manage our life effectively from a center of sound principles for a knowledge of our personal missions with a focus on important as well as the urgent and within the framework of maintaining a balance between increasing our production and increasing our production capability. This is admittedly an ambitious objective for people caught in the thick of thin things in quadrants 3 and 4. But striving to achieve it will have a phenomenal impact on personal effectiveness. According to organizer, will need to meet six important criteria. Coherence. Coherence suggests that there is a harmony, unity, and integrity between our vision and mission, your roles and goals, your priorities and plans, and your desires and discipline. In your planners, there should be a place for your personal mission statement to that you can constantly refer to it. There also needs to be a place for you rules and for both short and long term goals. Balance. Your tool should help you to keep balance in your life, to identify your vision, your various roles, and keep them right in front of you so that you don't neglect important areas such as your health, your family, professional preparation, or personal development. Many people seems to think that success in one area can compensate for failure in other areas of life. But can it really? Perhaps it can for a limited time in some areas, but can success in your profession compensate for a broken marriage, ruined health, or weakness in personal character? True effectiveness requires balance, and your tools need to help you create and maintain it. Quadrant 2 focus. You need a tool that encourages you, motivates you, actually helps you spend the time you need in quadrant 2 so that you are dealing with prevention rather than prioritizing crisis. In my opinion, the best way to do this is to organize your life on a weekly basis. You can skill, adapt, and or prioritize on a daily basis, but the fundamental trust is organizing the week. Organizing on a weekly basis provides much greater balance and context than daily planning. There seems to be implicit cultural recognition of the week as a single complete unit of time. Business education and many other facets of society operate within the framework of the week, designating certain days for focus, investment, and others for relaxation or inspiration. The basic Judeo-Christian ethics honor the Sabbath, the one day out of every seven set aside for uplifting purpose. Most people think in terms of week, but most third generation planning tools focus on daily planning. While they may help you prioritize your activities, they basically only help you organize crisis and busy work. The key is not to prioritize what on your schedule, but to schedule your prioritize, and this can best be done in the context of the week. A people dimension, you also need a tool that deals with people, not just schedule. While you can think in terms of efficiency in dealing with time, a principle center person thinks in terms of effectiveness in dealing with people. There are times when principle center quadrant 2 living requires the ordination, the schedule of pupil. Your tools need to reflect that value to facilitate implementation rather than create guilt when a schedule is not followed. Flexibility. Your planning tool should be your servant, never your master. Since it has to work for you, it should be tailored to your style, your needs, your particular ways. Portabil- Portability. Your tool should also be portable so that you can carry it with you most of the time. You may want to review your personal mission statement while riding the bus. You may want to measure the value of a new opportunity against something you already have planned. If your organizer is portable, you will keep it with you so that important data is always within reach. Since quadrant 2 is the heart of effective self management, you need a tool that moves you into quadrant 2. My work with the fourth generation concept has led to the creation of a tool specifically designed according to the criteria listed above. But many good third generation tools can easily be adapted because the principles are sound, the practice or specific applications can vary from one individual to next, becoming according to self manager. Although my efforts here is to teach principles, not practices of effectiveness, I believe you can better understand the principles and the empowering nature of the fourth generation if you actually experience organizing a week from a principle standard quadrant 2 base. Quadrant 2 organizing involves four keys activities. Identify roles. The first task is to write down your key roles. If you haven't really given the serious thought to the roles in your life, you can write down what immediately comes to mind. So you have a role as an individual, you may want to list one or more roles as a family member, a husband or wife, mother or father, some son or daughter, a member of the extended family or grandparents, aunts and uncles and cousins. You may want to list a few roles in your work indicating different areas in which you wish you invest time and energy on a regular basis. You may have roles in church or community affairs. You don't need to worry about defining the roles in a way that you will live with for the rest of your life. Just consider the week and write down the areas you see yourself spending time in during the next 7 days. Here are two examples of the way people might see their various roles. Number one, individual. Number two, husband, father. Number three, manager, new product. Number four, manager, research. Number five, managers, staff division. Number six, manager, administration. Number seven, chairman, United Way. Number one, personal development. Number two, wife. Number three, mother. Number four, real estate salesperson. Number five, Sunday school teacher. Number six, symphony board member. Selecting goals, the next step is to think of two or three important results you feel you should accomplish in each role during the next 7 days. These would be recorded as goals. At least some of these goals should reflect quadrant 2 activities. Ideally, these short term goals would be tied to the long term goals you have identified in conjunction with your personal missions statement. But even if you haven't written your mission statement, you can get a feeling, a sense of what is important as you consider each of your roles and two or three goals for each role. Scheduling, now you look at the week ahead with your goals in mind and schedule time to achieve them. For example, if your goal is to produce the first draft of your personal mission statement, you may want to set aside a 2 hours block of time on Sunday to work on it. Sunday or some other day of the week that is special to you, your faith, and your circumstance is often the ideal time to plan your more personal uplifting activities, including weekly organizing. It's a good time to draw back to see inspiration to look at your life in the context of principles and values. If you set a goals to become physically fit through exercise, you may want to set aside an hours there an are 3 or 4 days during the week, or possibly every day during the week to accomplish that goal. There are some goals that you may only be able to accomplish during business hours, or some that you can only do on Saturday when your children are home. Can you begin to see some of the advantage of organizing the week instead of the day? Having identified rules and set goals, you can translate each goal to a specific day of the week, rather either a priority item or even better as a specific appointment. You can also check your annual or monthly calendar for any appointment you may have previously made and evaluate their importance is the context of your goals. Transferring those you decide to keep to your schedule and making plans to schedule or cancel other. As you study the following weekly worksheet, observe how each of the 19 most important, often quadrant 2 goals have been scheduled or translated into a specific action plan. In addition, notice the box label sharpening the saw that provides a place to plan vital renewing quadrant 2 activities in each of the four human dimensions that will be explained in Habit 7. Even with time set aside to accomplish 19 important goals during the week, look at the amount of remaining unscheduled space on the worksheet, as well as empowering you to put first thing first. Quadrant 2 weekly organizing give you the freedom and flexibility to handle unanticipated events, to shift appointed if you need, to savor relationship and interaction with others, to deeply enjoy a spontaneous experience, knowing that you have proactively organized your week to accomplish key goals in every area of your life. Daily adapting with quadrant 2 weekly organizing, daily planning becomes more a function of daily adapting or prioritizing activities and responding to unanticipated events, relationships, and experience in a meaningful way. Taking a few minutes each morning to review your schedule can put you in touch with the value based decision you made as you organize the week, as well as unanticipated factors that may have come up as you overview the day. You can see that your rules and goals provided a natural prioritization that grew out of your innate sense of balance. It is a softer, more right brain prioritization that ultimately comes out of your sense of personal mission. You may still find that the third generation ABC and 1 2 3 prioritization gives needed order to daily activities. It would be a false dichotomy to say that activities are either important or they aren't. They are obviously on a continuum, and some important activities are more important than others. In the context of weekly organizing, third generation prioritization give order to daily focus. But trying to prioritize activities before you even you even know how they relate to your sense of personal missions and how they fit into the balance of your life is not effective. You may be prioritizing and accomplishing things you don't want or need to be doing at all. Can you begin to see the difference between organizing your week as a principal centered quadrant 2 manager and planning your day as an individual center or something else? Can you begin to sense the tremendous difference the quadrant 2 focus would make in your current level of effectiveness? Having experienced the power of principal center quadrant 2 organizing in your own life and having seen it transform the life of hundreds of other people, I have persuaded it makes a difference, a quantum positive difference. And the more completely weekly goals are tied into a wider framework of correct principles and into a personal mission statement, the greater the increase in effectiveness will be.